And welcome back to another episode of Getting Down with the Browns, baby.
Let's go, baby! Let's go! We got a special guest.
Very
in the
special
house
guest.
tonight.
We've got LeBron, Mr. Watson himself.
Yes, sir. One of the most influential Twitter accounts in Browns Twitter right now going on.
In all of the world.
Mr. Watson.
Elon
What's going
Musk
on?
had to go
Talk to
through
me.
him.
What's going on this evening? How we feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I just want to say I appreciate y'all having me on. This I've been talking to KFC and Manny since we've been, since I made my page. So it's like we always been in contact, and I'm happy to be on the show.
Let's go.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go, man. We're gonna be talking some good football tonight. We're gonna be I wasn't on Monday's show talking about the
you fell in that crock pot.
I was supposed to cook people up in the crock pot. I was supposed to cook people up in the crock pot. I didn't bring the crock pot tonight because I said, let me hold it down. Let me slow down just a little bit.
Still recovering from Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly. I want to slow it down a little bit. We got something cooking up for Lamar though, because Lamar his Ravens. Although Lamar might not even play, so I'm feeling very good for Saturday.
He's out. He's out.
He's out.
Is he officially out?
Yeah, he's officially out.
See, that's what it's over now because he has a little 6-3 record going on versus the Cleveland Browns right now, and he's coming back from the bathroom on 4th and 1, throwing touchdown passes to Hollywood Brown and throwing 4 interceptions and still winning football games. None of that anymore, though. None of that because now we got Tyler Huntley 0-1 versus the Browns.
Oh, is he back?
So I don't know. But, so potentially. If not,
all I'm saying, the Browns are 1-0 when I'm there watching them play the Ravens.
Okay.
We're actually undefeated when I'm there and we play AFC North opponents.
Are you gonna be there on Saturday?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
bro. Did you pay $5 or $8 for those tickets?
They paid me.
Oh, influential. It'd be like that when you're on down.
Yeah, I'm actually. You see the visor? You see the visor going on?
Yeah, I like it.
I got the playbook. I'm calling plays.
You got the playbook. You call
Fancy plays? Actually. He goes, bro. He said, season's pretty much over. We got to have you calling plays. Somebody's got to save the season. So
somebody, you know what? They was nasty. I listened to last month.
I got the finger licking good sauce coming off on the plays.
Sauce. We listen. We're gonna open it up with some football talk about Watson. Mr. Watson. We want to get your ideas and some of your thoughts of what happened on that Bengals game. We'll have a little bit of a reminiscent episode, not too much because we did that on Monday, and then we'll highlight exactly what we're expecting on Saturday versus the Baltimore Ravens. But I do want to talk about last Monday. You guys were talking about Kevin Stefanski, fire Kevin Stefanski. I don't want to hear any more of that nonsense.
Yeah,
listen, bro.
Just to start it off, and just for me to say something.
Go ahead, please.
Go ahead.
I'm not on the fire KS train. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it though. Like he was coach of the year for one. You know what I'm saying? Just like. All right, you got your quarterback now. You give him at least a full season before you just give him. We only giving him what 5 games to
5 games.
Yeah, that's
so far 2. People want to fire him after 2 games.
Off of 2, that's not nothing, man. I feel like you at least need a whole season. So let me see what he can do with Deshaun. I mean, we can't now. They saying we out the playoffs and it's a 0.4 chance. So definitely, like, let me see what my coach can do and draw up.
Have some fun with it. Exactly. Get a little bit creative on the offensive side of football.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And pre-show, I mean, I ran this by you guys because I didn't know if this was just like an atrocious take or not. But I said losing to the Bengals was actually, I know it's like you don't want to ever lose, but like in this instance, like it might have been a good thing because now you get the pressure's not there on Deshaun.
Right.
I mean, Deshaun came in. I mean, the playoffs, if we had a better record. But like we needed him to come in and play pretty much perfect ball the rest of the year.
Yes.
After sitting out for 700 days.
Yes.
That's tough.
That's a lot to ask for. That's a lot to ask for.
And I had always heard like the 2-year thing, and like it didn't really set in until somebody put like the actual days to it. And I'm like, oh my man, like 700 days ago, I was a totally different dude,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's 700 days. Like that's a long time.
Sure.
And like now it's like, okay, the pressure's off Deshaun to kind of, I mean, we do got like a 0.4 chance, like you said, but it's not all there to like go out there and play perfect ball. It's like, okay, Deshaun, go do your thing.
Yes.
Go have fun, enjoy yourself. I was never like the Bengals game. Or if we want to talk about the Bengals game, I was never like him to go out there and and score, you know what I'm saying, and do all. I just wanted him to have fun, you know what I'm saying, look way better than he did against the Texans, you know what I'm saying. That's what I wanted, you know what I'm saying. I just wanted him to have fun, you know what I'm saying, and I see him improving every week. That's all we asking for, you know. I'm not asking for nothing else from him though. So yeah.
They have, you know what I wish I could literally have a conversation with Matty G and Mac when they're here, because I'm telling you right now, LeBron, if we were here and they were talking about that fire Stefanski nonsense, it would have
we'd have cut it off.
I get some of the points though. I mean, because like, I mean, I get it, because like, I mean, the offense and like the whole team's not clicking together, and you know, the head coach is supposed to be the guy that gets them all riled up and stuff.
Yeah.
But I've been on the Stefanski train. Like, I like Kevin Stefanski. I want him to be our coach for a long time. I think these next 4 games are very crucial into how the Browns will look at Kevin Stefanski moving forward. And I texted this in our group chat, actually. I said, I think the safe mark is 8-9 for Kevin Stefanski. I think if he goes 7-10, 6-11, I think.
What's his own worst record, if y'all know by chance? Like his worst
8-9 last year.
Oh, that's not okay.
So
yeah,
if you're progressively regressing, I know that's
it is a little bit of a problem. But here's the thing. And if you're diagnosing it in a way of looking at it record based, obviously play matters. Right.
Yeah.
Play matters in these next 4 games. I think that's the most important part. What we saw in Houston, we saw some rust. We all wanted him to be fantastic in Houston and come in and throw, you know, not crazy like 500 yards, but we wanted him to throw a little nice little 300 yards, you know, a little 17 for 20.
I was saying 4 touchdowns. I ain't gonna lie.
I was talking a little spicy.
We were talking a little spicy. So, but at the same time, you know, they were up at 5-0 one time. It wasn't even crazy. You know what I mean? It was a little bit too spicy. And then we go into Cincinnati. He has a little bit of a better game. He throws the ball a little bit more. You know, there was still some troubles and things like that. But here's the thing I want to talk about the most about the Kevin Stefanski firing thing. Give him the last 6 games with Deshaun Watson. Just give him the last 6 games of the season. We gave him 2 games already, and people are calling for his job. I guess it's because of the NFL being such a win. You want to get your reactions out there so quickly, right? And there's a week in between football games, sometimes 5, 6, 7 games. And if you have a bye week or whatever, you have a longer time in between games. And I'm not trying to talk about the Celtics or anything or basketball or whatever, but sometimes when you get a little bit, you know, some back-to-back losses in 2 days or whatever, you know, and then you have a game the next day, you can't really overreact because there's a next game the next day. But I think people overreact when it comes to Browns Twitter about fire Stefanski, because there's so much time in between. There's so much time in between each game. So that's why, you know, MC says, I don't want to see any guys checking out. Explain what you mean, MC. Explain what you mean, because I'm not sure what you mean by that.
I think that what he's meaning is like where
players checking out.
Yeah, players checking out.
I don't think so, because I think a lot of players including coaches know that this is the time of the season. Hey, we're not going to be in the playoffs, but we have a chance to either get a contract extension, don't get fired, don't get traded, don't get you know what I mean.
Spot.
Exactly, fighting for another a roster spot next season. So it's a little bit. I don't think anybody's going to be checking out too much, especially when you have these big games like Jarvis Landry and the Saints coming back up to town after the Baltimore Ravens.
Good one on the 24th.
It's going to be a good one. Exactly. So, I mean, I think you have them and then the Commanders and then the Steelers. You're ending the season. How can you take a backseat to Pittsburgh? You're in Pittsburgh. You know, you're getting those boos. You don't want to take a backseat to that. So what I'm more so saying about fire Kevin Stefanski, you have a do not overreact. After 6 games, take it in stride. We don't know, because if Deshaun Watson and his offense looks great for the next 4 games and goes 4-0, everybody shuts up all of a sudden. The only person that's 100% getting fired, and that's Joe Woods. Okay, we all know Joe Woods is gone. And I don't know why they haven't done it already, but I think this is just a franchise.
I think the whole defensive staff's out. I think that whole
potentially we're hearing whispers already that they were planning for Higgins and Boyd and Chase, and when they came in and out on the first play, you know, they were like, oh, for the rest of the game they thought they were playing, but then they weren't playing, and they had a hard time making adjustments, which I understand in a way from a human perspective. But at the same time, it's like you get paid millions upon millions of dollars to adjust to that.
I don't know how you couldn't have looked at, like, after the first quarter, go, okay, Jamar's eating. Let's double team. Let's even triple team this.
At least
dude.
Let's
let
get
me
Trent
help him.
Taylor. Yeah,
At least let me help him.
exactly.
Exactly.
Let me get
That's what I
some
was
kind of help. Let me
Yeah.
Nick Chubb isn't running the ball. Let me dial up something. DJ Reader, they're having their way on the defensive line, and they were eating up Nick Chubb. So it's you got to get a little bit creative on the offensive side of the ball. Although that more so it was the defense coordinators who were saying that. But you still have to look at it as a whole and say to yourself, man, oh man, like we have to make some adjustments. We can't just say it's hard and we were planning for them. You had less. It's not
you got to throw out that shotgun run though. You gotta throw that out.
Man.
What is up, Ian?
Coltrane's in the house, baby.
What's going on, Ian?
What's up, man?
He's dying with the Browns, baby.
What's going on? But listen, and I know Coltrane's a big Fire Stefanski guy. Listen, we can have a whole episode on that. We can have a whole rant on that. We can have a whole. I might even put a post.
See, I've said back.
So it's the reason. Like, let me ask y'all this real quick: is the reason they want to fire Kevin is because we not in the playoffs no more, or is it just because of what they seen on the, what I'm saying, like what he throwing out there on the field?
It's like the Brissett thing. Oh, he just actually said this. Watson should have thrown that fourth and first.
I agree.
Fourth and one.
I was upset.
That was kind of.
Watch it. Yeah,
I understand the play call though, because when Jacoby goes in. You're thinking, okay, he's gonna jump and he's gonna go over top of the pile.
That's
in Houston. But it said they ran it in Houston.
Yeah,
instead of QB sneak, they ran it. So,
but honestly, I would like to see that play call again, but with Watson, because DPJ was wide open in the end zone.
He was. That would have been a touchdown.
One more step and that's a touchdown.
But again, it's one of those plays. One more step. It's one of those plays where everyone says, and even me, including me, when I watched it live, I said, what are you doing? But at the same time, if he would have caught that touchdown pass, I would have said that was the greatest thing ever. Jeff is saying Fire Stefanski. You know what, Jeff? We're going to listen. I'm telling you something right now. Listen, I don't.
He's sipping that Browns Kool-Aid.
I wish
that Browns Kool-Aid with no sugar.
With no sugar. I need some time. We need to have an episode of where we can just argue about not firing Kevin Stefanski, because I think it's just that's the point that I can't stand, because there's so much time in between football games. Everybody wants to do this and this and that.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, but just to end my statement and my little mental rant on Kevin Stefanski, it is ridiculous. Listen, the 4th and 1 call, I get it, whatever. A lot of people are upset about that. I was upset about that, but in hindsight, 2020, because if Jacoby would have connected on that pass, it would have been a fantastic move. It would have been an extremely smart move, because everyone thinks Jacoby's coming in. He's like one of the greatest quarterbacks in history when he's converting short. I'm dead. He's like one of the greatest quarterbacks in history in converting those short yardage plays that everyone was like, oh man, Jacoby's in, whatever, fine. But again, it's just unfortunate. You got to keep it simple, and it's plays like that can potentially blow up your season. So
mind you, we started from I want to say the 6 or the 8, right? So we coming down from the 6 or the 8 from the So then the shot go 3 for 3. I think was this off the top of my head, like 34 yards if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay. So that's he in motion, he in rhythm. So like I didn't get what taking him out was gonna do. Like imagine you going 3 for 3 and your coach say, I'm about to take you out. You'll be like, dang, like I just came all the way down the field. So I was like, maybe we just gonna get them to jump off sides and try to get close so we can kick the field goal. That's what I was thinking, or get them off sides so we can get the first down. You know what I'm saying? But
yes. It was that's a very good point, because I thought they would do a little bit something. And Max said he doesn't want any more good looking coaches. I'm telling you something right now. There might be I don't know. That's a toss up, because you got Bill Belichick is not the most attractive person on there.
Get me a guy.
Mike McDaniel's a nerdy dude, but he
give me a ball patchy up here type of guy that's gonna scream the whole time, red faced. He going into the game. Whatever, like.
Can I ask y'all a question though? Off topic, who y'all coach of the year right now? If y'all had to say,
right now,
Sirianni's doing something special in Philly. I think he's doing something extremely special for Philly. He's his second year already. Doug Peterson's already in Jacksonville. Some people are saying Doug Peterson. Some people saying Mike McDaniel. I'm more of a Sirianni kind of guy because not that
I'm
they
saying
don't have
Brian Daboll.
Brian Daboll. Well, Brian Daboll's up there with New York. He's really.
Look at that turnaround.
This is his first year. This
I can't wait
turnaround
to
is crazy.
because there's some good options out there. Some good options this year.
There's some that's a very good question. We should really tweet that from the account, but then say it's from you, LeBron, because that's a really fantastic question. Because then you can make the argument: is it Brian Daboll or is it Saquon Barkley going off? Because he told everybody I was going to go off this year.
Okay,
he told everybody because Saquon's up for MVP. So it's like this is definitely not Daniel Jones. It's definitely not.
I mean, he's looking good though.
He looks a lot better. It looks a lot better when you can play action and use Saquon as one of your defense mechanisms. Because when it was Saquon wasn't there last year, he was trash.
That defense tough too.
That defense is tough. So it's
you think it's the rookie they got that's making them better?
Thibodeau. I don't know. I don't know if Kayvon Thibodeau. I haven't watched very many Kayvon Thibodeau. I don't even know if he's in for rookie defensive player of the year.
I think they're just well coached.
Well coached, okay.
Because I mean, he's bringing that swag they had in Buffalo last year.
Yeah. That's actually a good point. I didn't actually think about that because Brian Daboll. We have to talk about that question because on Twitter we'll put a little poll together because that's a really good question of who the coach of the year would be. Oh,
and going back to even talking about like firing Stefanski, like there's some like options. Like I've not really saw like I don't think a lot of people are saying like get Sean Payton. I don't think he's coming to Cleveland.
Yeah.
No.
Man, I heard some crazy stuff. When I heard Jim Harbaugh, I heard not who else? I heard Jim Harbaugh or you know what I'm saying, but I just that's just crazy. It's just blasphemy because like at least finish out the year.
Yeah, well, we talked about Monday. We was talking about that, and they were talking. They brought up like Mike Tomlin being on the hot seat. Like if Mike Tomlin gets fired, bro,
That's crazy.
As soon as that tweet drops, I'm driving to Pittsburgh. We're locking his door.
Hey, make a phone call.
We breaking in.
You have to
busting down the door.
I'll take Mike Tomlin all day, every
day.
Kidnapping him.
No questions asked.
Taking him to a different location. Undisclosed, nobody knows, making him sign the contract.
Yeah,
blank check, open.
So I think that's important because just a cultural shift. I think it would be better to have a cultural, no nonsense. Give me a sleeper head coach hire, D'Amico Ryans. D'Amico Ryans in San Francisco. I think D'Amico is a
defense coordinator.
About that either.
Is he the deep? Is he the
He's the defense coordinator
in San Fran? And I love D'Amico Ryans.
Would you want him for a head coach or as the?
I would want him
for our defense.
Oh yeah, he'd be the head coach.
I would have him as the head coach, but also a head coach who can take control of the defense would be my idea, right?
See, the thing is like you either have this defensive coordinator push for the head coaching job, which is what's happened recently. Like Robert Saleh is doing good in New York with the Jets.
Yes.
So I think your next big hires will be from the defensive coordinator. Because when we hired Stefanski, a lot of OCs and college guys were getting hired, like Cliff Kingsbury, Sean McVay, like really big like offensive guys. So
what were you gonna say? What were you gonna say, LeBron? What were you gonna say? You were saying something?
No, I was just gonna say Sean McVay. That was I like it. I like the way he coached. I ain't gonna say only because what he did with Baker and how they doing right now, but I just like the way he coached. I always was a fan of Sean McVay.
I got to the Super Bowl with Goff.
That is a huge kind of like man, oh man, you got there with Jared Goff. And like you knew when he got just quarterback, like a quarterback that could help you read defenses, you knew you were going to get there. But hey, they paid the price. They literally paid the price. You see what's going on over in LA. Literally, they sold their soul for one Super Bowl ring. Not saying that I wouldn't have done that because I literally if you told me put all in 1 year.
Bro, I'd get a Super Bowl trophy right here. I get a brown Super Bowl trophy tattooed right here.
Get the elf. Get the elf.
The brownie, the elf, right here.
Yeah. We'll get that bad boy right here, bro. Right here. Right there, bro.
That's something we really should talk about that eventually. Like, what would you like? Quite literally, would you be okay with the Browns going all in for one Super Bowl next year and just not making it back to Super Bowl the remaining of Deshaun Watson's contract? That's a very good question because I would.
So you win the Super Bowl?
You win the Super Bowl, but then you don't even go to the playoffs. the next 4 years.
Ooh,
Same thing that's going like
That-
with the Rams.
I mean that Super Bowl would be tough though. I mean, you talk about that for years. I mean, you look at how
You
the
could talk about
Cavs-
that for years.
like
With
the
LA,
Cavs-
with LA, the same thing.
I mean, you look at the 2016 championship. That gets brought up every year. I
it's
mean,
brought up every single year.
but you know that
No one
was
takes anybody from it.
but that was probably like the greatest finals
Yeah,
series ever.
exactly. That's another good point because it's more of a
Historic.
historic thing. And also the Cavs too, they're not like the LA Rams where they're just a really truly one and done. They continuously made it to the playoffs with LeBron. You know what I mean? They were always in it and they went to the finals several years in a row. So it's like it's not the same exact thing.
Yeah.
But I think the important part, so I want to slowly move over to this game Saturday at 4:30 p.m. The Baltimore Ravens will be visiting the Cleveland Browns at First Energy Stadium. So ESPN has a projected 61% chance of Baltimore winning this football game. The over/under is 38 points.
Ooh.
Honestly, I combined 38 points. I don't know. I think that it'll be a little bit lower than that, especially AFC, especially with the Baltimore Ravens. It's just gonna
The defense is tough.
the defense is tough, and I think that there's not going to be. This is one game where I can literally. Last week I wasn't saying it.
I'm sorry.
Jeff is saying Cavs are going to win another. Going to win another one.
D.
this year,
Mitch looking good. Spider.
Yeah, D. Mitch. That's my MVP. I got Donovan Mitchell to win MVP.
Donovan Mitchell is your MVP.
Yeah,
Bro,
he's tough.
listen, and because you're a first time LeBron guest, LeBron, I'm not going to flame you for that. I'm gonna let you live. I'm gonna let you.
Think about it. Think about it,
down with
man.
the Browns,
But look,
down
in
with the Celtics.
2016, I don't know if y'all can see. I'm about to show y'all real. 2016, my Cavs had won the championship. I had got the Cavs tatted. I'm a little black, so y'all probably can't see.
Oh
the
no,
seats,
we gotta get you. No, we
You got
listen.
that
You gotta take a picture of that and
Tweet it.
add us because we gotta let people know that we're not fair weather fans right now. I don't know why we're saying we. I don't know why we're saying we because I'm not.
Bro,
a Cavs fan.
listen, man. You gonna convert. We can
Listen,
go
you can
baptize
always
you in
convert
some
over.
Calves.
Listen. Once
We're
you
gonna
get
take you in that
once-
Lake Erie.
I'll think about it once y'all get one ring for each finger. Once you get 10 rings, then I'll think about it.
Hey, how many of you saw in your lifetime though?
One.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hey, same with me.
Listen, it's the history. Yeah, exactly. It's the historical. It's the
All right.
historical.
So this is down with the Cavs right now.
Down
Listen,
with the
man.
Cavs.
Listen. You can't be claiming if we can't claim these championships for the Browns, you can't be claiming them 1800s championships.
But that's different though because those are actually NBA finals. Like those are actually championships.
Yeah, but when there's two
Right.
teams in the league,
It's
Celtics in the
completely
lake.
teams.
No, they were
Bro,
really good teams though.
people were working down at the local diner,
But here's
working
the
their
thing.
9 to 5,
But
coming to the games and playing.
No. Listen,
Manny, let me
Magic-
ask you this, Manny. Who y'all
Magic
first
Johnson.
option?
Who's
y'all
our
first
third option
First option.
on our
Is
team?
it Jason Tatum or Jalen
Oh yeah,
Brown?
oh yeah, JT
Jason
for
Tatum?
sure, for
Okay.
sure. Jason Tatum's our first option for sure.
Right.
Depending on again, first and foremost, even though there were less teams back then, those teams weren't some just scrubs. Okay,
Bro.
Magic Johnson wasn't a scrub. Kareem wasn't a scrub. We weren't in championships.
I'm
again.
talking back when they actually won all of them. You know, Bill Russell.
Yeah. Oh, and
There's
Kevin
like two
McHale,
teams.
and Kevin.
Bro,
you
Bill
know,
Russell and
Larry
Kevin
Bird,
McHale didn't play together.
How many rings does
Yeah.
Celtics got?
17.
Like,
We got 17 of them.
Yeah, and
How many my
Give me-
Cavs got?
I don't know how many Cavs have. I don't know how many the Cavs have.
we got
But I
going
do
back
like-
to the
so-
Browns.
Yeah, so going back to the Browns. So,
Please.
so right with I don't want to embarrass y'all up in here talking about my C's. But listen, I think that the thing I want to talk about what your guys' game plan is offensively. Overview first and foremost. I don't want to talk about a general overview of what your expectations are for this game. No score predictions. We'll save those till the end. But I think right now, you're having potentially Tyler Huntley, or you're going to have Anthony Brown Jr., their third string quarterback. for the Baltimore Ravens playing. He's a guy out of Oregon. A lot of people don't know too much about him. He was 3 for 5 last game when Tyler Huntley got hurt. Again, he's a very extremely mobile quarterback. We have trouble with more mobile quarterbacks in the past. What are some of the general overviews, things you're concerned about? Do you think that this is really kind of a dub because they're on their third string quarterback potentially? Is there anything to worry about? Does their defense concern you? Christian, I'll let you go, and then LeBron, you can go.
See, I'm not even really worried about the quarterback position. I'm more worried about J.K. Dobbins.
Same.
He had 120.
Like,
He ran for 120, 100.
Yeah, last week, and you know how our run defense
with screws in his knees.
Yeah, with screws in his knees. I don't know if you guys saw that picture, but we got to
like
upload that
had that like video of him running, breaking away that big run that he had. I mean, once he gets his feet back under him, man, he's gonna kill it. Like, he's a good back. Like, I mean, we all saw what he did at Ohio State. He was a dog. We all know the saying, JK all day. Like, if they don't tighten it up and have a game plan for that man, he might rush.
Don't forget about Gus
on
the Bus. Don't forget about Gus the Bus, though.
Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards.
That's a big running back, man. That's a big.
What do you what are your thoughts overview wise?
If we can hold both of them to under 100 yards, I feel like the game is our favor. I'm talking about them as in both running backs. If we can hold them for under 100 yards, I don't know if that's a hot take because I feel like we can do that. I feel like we can do that. We can hold JK and Gus under 100 yards. I think combined. Yeah, I think we can do that. I'm gonna go with that.
Well, we did just hold Mixon. Well, no, Mixon had a good game.
Mixon, that was different. But I'm telling you, I really do feel like we can hold them from under 100 yards. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking.
See, my thing is about this game. I don't think they're going to be throwing the ball at all. Like, I think they'll have less than 20. They'll have less than 20 passes, like 20 max this whole game. So,
all right. Well, let me say, hold them under 150. How that sound? That sound better?
That sound better.
Yeah. Combine them. I think that the problem. I think that the average, what I would say is the average yards per carry, right? I think that that's going to be something that is really infuriating because if they're running the ball, once, I don't know, if they're running the ball like under 10 times, you know what I mean, and they break one for something huge, I don't know if it's going to kill us. But if they hand the ball off over and over and over, it reminds me of that guy who came over from 49ers to the Miami Dolphins who got 17 carries versus us. Not Raheem Mostert. Jeff Wilson Jr. Okay. When Jeff Wilson came over and just ran the ball, they just kept handing the ball over. It felt like all game long they were just handing the ball off to him, and it was just destroying our defensive line. It's infuriating. I do believe, though, because if Baltimore had Lamar Jackson, it is a loss. We cannot. I know he's 6-3, but those 3 losses, they feel like 0. Because he just beats the Cleveland Browns. And so that's what's extremely, extremely annoying. And that's one of the things for me personally that it was a weight lifted off of my back, so to speak, that he was not going to be playing. And I don't care. I tell Ravens fans all day, every day on Twitter, whatever the case may be, I hate Lamar Jackson because it's only Lamar Jackson I'm scared of. Anybody else, if they're under center and it's not number 8, I don't care. That's a win for us. That's fine. MC says, was this idea of small, fine, fast linebackers a good idea? They're all dead. I think the way the league is, I think the way the league is going, right? It's go ahead.
Most of your quarterbacks are mobile. So the reason we picked JOK, and I'm 100% positive this is the only reason we picked JOK, is because we saw Lamar as a long-term threat. Yes. JOK is super fast.
Yes.
And we picked him as a Lamar stopper. And I get your point about these smaller linebackers. It's like they have a tougher time with the tight ends because they're not as big.
Yes.
And getting in there to stop the run. Because, like, I mean, you need a guy with some muscle on him. Like, that's why Anthony Walker was such a big part. And I think Deion Jones is going to continue to grow as a linebacker with us. I think he's going to show out these next 4 games. I'm a big Deion Jones guy. But I think I get what he's saying. Like, I like the big, like Bobby Boucher type of linebackers.
Yes, yes. The days, listen, well, here's the thing. First and foremost, the days of your Vontaze Burfict, your James Harrisons, your Ray Lewis, the big beefy go, your Ray Maluga, those days are over. First and foremost, those days are over because the
Ah.
quarterback Logan Wilson. Even look at Logan Wilson right now on Cincinnati. Like it's just like it's not like your notice Walker and Taki are turning out to be our best linebackers. I did
Yep.
notice that. I do want to talk about that in a
You know
second,
why?
Jeff. Why is that?
They're bigger. They're stronger.
No, I don't. I think they're smarter. I think Taki. I think to be completely
I'm
honest with you,
bigger.
I
Stronger.
I'm faster. I'm wiser. Listen, I'm pretty sure you're just really wiser. Look, JOK is fantastic. He's an extremely athletic linebacker.
He's great linebacker.
He's fantastic. And I'm not saying that he's dumb or anything. I'm not saying that. But at the same time, I'm looking at Anthony Walker. Anthony Walker has experience. He's been on a Super Bowl team. He's one of the veterans. He's one of the he won a Super Bowl with the Colts. So I think that yeah. You didn't know that?
He didn't win no Super Bowl with the Colts.
You didn't know that?
Anthony Walker.
Yeah.
The Colts ain't won a Super Bowl since Peyton Manning, bro.
Yeah. Look, wait, hold on. I have to look that
Bro,
up.
he only like 28.
Oh no, or was no, wait.
You're thinking
He
of
won a
Malcolm
Super Bowl.
Smith.
No. It's Anthony Walker. He has a Super Bowl.
No, he don't. Does he?
Yeah, but it might not be the
No.
Colts.
I thought he was with the Colts his whole career before us.
Or he played in the Super Bowl. Hold on.
I think you're thinking of Deion Jones with the Falcons.
I might be.
You're thinking
I have to
Deion
look that up.
Jones.
I might be. Hold on. We'll get back to that because I'm almost positive.
Yeah.
He has I'm almost positive.
Walker was just a really good influence on that team. That Colts team. They were cooking.
Mhm.
And they were good. When we signed him, a lot of the Colts defensive players, they were like, bro, it's sad to see him leave. Cleveland got a good one. Like, so that's what made the signing a little bit easier for me because I can't remember who was the big linebacker, but that's who I was wanting. And then we got AWOC. And AWOC's been solid for us the last 2 seasons.
He has been an influential guy in the locker room. He has been a huge part in the locker room.
Which, I mean, what was it in his leg? Was his ACL?
Yes. Yeah.
And like every game, man, he's there. Like even the games after Jacoby, he's running up.
Yeah.
And like he's like,
torn
hey.
quad. He had a torn quad week 3. Yeah, torn quad.
Yeah. But I think you're thinking of Deion Jones though.
I'm maybe thinking of Deion Jones. Maybe
he played in that Falcons Super Bowl.
Yeah. So I think what I was more so saying was I'm not saying that JK is not smart. I'm not saying that. But at the same time, MC makes a fantastic point that just because of the linebackers being smaller and faster and agile, and you have to keep up with some of the mobile quarterbacks that you're seeing in the league. It's unfortunate because you're missing out on those bigger guys. Now, Taki is bigger. He is bigger, right? But he's actually very athletic.
Oh,
He's getting in there making plays and things like that. And even for
Pay the man.
What'd you say?
Pay the man.
Exactly. Oh no. Taki has secured himself at least a roster spot next year. At least for sure. It's not even thinking twice about having a roster spot because he was playing out of his mind and he was really budding this offseason. So I think that's going to be one of the most important parts against Baltimore because Anthony Brown is still an extremely mobile quarterback. And you're going to see a lot of play action boots. I think that's going to be something that the Baltimore Ravens are going to try to utilize against the Cleveland Browns because of that J.K. Dobbins, because of your Gus Edwards. So I think that's the thing that I'm really, really afraid of. But at the same time, Deshaun Watson is doing like slowly but surely. A lot of people don't want to talk about it and give credit where credit is due. But he had a good
game.
He had a good game. He had if Jacoby, everyone's like if Jacoby Brissett was in, they would have beat the Bengals. That's not true. I think Deshaun Watson had a Jacoby Brissett-esque sort of game. 28 for 42 and 276 yards passing and a tutty.
I think the Bengals were due for one. Burrow was like, that was the big thing over his head. That was the talk of the whole week, pretty much. Like, oh, they own the Chiefs, but he's still like 4-0 against the Browns.
Right, exactly. Fox Sports tweeted that out.
That's all they talked about. So, I mean, they were due for one, because I mean, Kevin Stefanski was 5-1 against them right now.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they were just due for one, but sorry. Jeff says if you keep Stefanski, what new defensive coordinator would come here knowing it's possible Stefanski is on the hot seat? I said this on Monday's show. I think that we should hire a higher echelon defensive coordinator with former head coaching experience. So if Kevin Stefanski is dudding out next year, you could put him as the head coach, like a guy that's called plays, like you've said numerous times. Get a guy like Brian Flores,
Yes.
a guy like
Yes.
Mike Zimmer. I wouldn't mind having Mike Zimmer. I want him. A lot of people are saying that he might not want to come back to coaching because he's a little bit older now.
Yeah.
But if I would say run the table with him, see if he's down to come for like 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Mike Zimmer guy because I saw what he's doing in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And he was the head coach of that team that went to the NFC Championship with Case Keenum.
Yes, exactly.
And those defenses were always tough.
They're extremely tough.
And one thing I've thought about, like MC brought up about the linebackers. You know who's a free agent this year?
Who?
Anthony Barr. You bring Mike Zimmer, Anthony Barr would come here. He'd come to Cleveland.
I've actually loved Anthony Barr, UCLA product, right? I've loved personally Anthony Barr, so I honestly I wouldn't mind seeing him come over, over to the Browns. I think he's 30 years. He's a little bit older though. I think he's 30.
But you gotta have vets.
Yeah, you gotta.
We don't have any age on this team.
We don't have any age. You don't have any age. But it doesn't matter.
But
yeah. Which I think that I think that Minnesota. I wonder if Kwesi would be willing to help us out by just letting him go. But I think I don't know. I think that Anthony Barr would be a fantastic.
Jeff brought up a good point. He said rumors Zimmer's going to Colorado with Deion. I thought
Deion.
they already hired a defensive guy though.
I think they hired an offensive guy.
Oh, they might have.
I think he's bringing over his. I have to. I'm not exactly extremely.
I know that they got their offensive coordinator and their O-line guy, but I'm not for sure on the defense. I thought they had already hired their defense, but I may be wrong on that.
I mean, we did. I want to still talk about the Ravens game, but I do want to digress just slightly. Watch out for Colorado and the Buffaloes. Watch out for them because once USC and UCLA move over to the Big Ten. And if Deion's there for a while and his son's playing quarterback, I think the only competition over there is potentially maybe Utah. I don't know, maybe or maybe Oregon if they pull one out of their hat. But I think Colorado is going to own the Pac-12 for a while if Deion is still there because of USC.
JC said in the Twitter comments, he said, Manny Stefanski is a future Broncos OC.
Listen, we have to have an entire first and foremost frog. Okay, we have to have a whole show about just this nonsense. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of this nonsense about fire Kevin. I can't stand it. And if we play, oh my goodness gracious, if we played more games in a row, we wouldn't even be talking about fire Stefanski. We would not. Because I'm thinking it's just this having so much time off in between games. We just say, man, oh man, the play calling, man. It's been 2 games. It's been 120 minutes. I can't take it. Why does Manny keep talking about the
bro? See, I think that it's awfully so though. I mean, when you're 5-8 and you've paid all of these dudes, and I get Watson was suspended for 11 games. I think I'm just being the devil's advocate here. Just you got to see both sides of it. The team does it Kevin Stefanski is not a big fire up guy. He's not like the guy that's gonna like Dan Campbell. It's gonna go bite kneecaps off people. No,
but nor does Bill Belichick.
He's at practice he's disciplined. You're
Bill Belichick says you better do what I say or you're getting kicked off the football team. Right? That's not hyping.
Exactly. Stefanski's not like that though. Stefanski's more of your let's go have coffee type of head coach. He's like, let's go down to the Panera Bread or the local Starbucks. Let's have us a little nice brunch. Let's go talk this over. Like one of them top.
Tony Dungy's like that. Tony Dungy's got a couple Super Bowls under his belt. He's a sit you down.
But this is a different era though. These guys, you're paying these guys nowadays, and these guys, you gotta have that guy that's in there that has that dog in them. People want to have that guy that has that fiery leadership, and I get that. Fans love a fiery head coach. Tell me I'm wrong. Freddie Kitchens had the whole fan base won over when he wore that Pittsburgh started.
Freddie Kitchens is like that drunk uncle that shows up to the cookout. That's why.
But you cannot tell me before the season started you were not a huge Freddie Kitchens guy.
I kind of was. Was.
Everybody was. Everybody loved Freddie Kitchens.
I was.
Yeah, because why? Because he had a personality. He was charismatic. he had all the
Pittsburgh
potentials
started it, which he shouldn't have
except that
apologized for. But he wouldn't have had to apologize if the Browns were good. I still adamantly believe that. If the Browns were good, he wouldn't have had to apologize for when that Pittsburgh started. So Kevin won't even fire. He's soft. AB says Kevin Stefanski is a Dr. Phil. But that might be true. That might be
yeah,
that might
like
be true.
I get what it's
Dr. Phil.
because like a lot of our coaches aren't like in your face type of guys. Like
And-
you need that sometimes. Like
Greg
at these
Williams
points of
would
the
be in your face. Greg Williams.
Greg Williams
you
was a
kinda
bit too
need that.
much.
You
He was too much.
Listen,
Like
yeah, I
those
don't
players
wanna be- I
say
don't
that
wanna
they
be
wouldn't have
called-
played for the Browns after that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I don't want to be
But-
called names. Yeah, every time I show up into the into
I mean,
practice.
you got to have that balance, like a good personality that I think would have set well with the Cleveland Browns would have been like a Dan Campbell. That would have been like a perfect personality
Yeah,
for a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cleveland fan base.
Yeah.
Because
I think-
everybody
I
in
think-
Cleveland loves him.
Yeah, and they'll play hard for him. They'll play.
Yeah,
and that's the
I mean,
thing,
look at the
exactly.
Lions.
Look at the Lions. Look at them.
So
I'm
like
impressed.
you got to look at that type of stuff like that. That's a big thing. Like I've kind of came around to that point of Kevin Stefanski. He's not, the disciplinary. Like you got to have some discipline in there. Like you got to. I mean, it's good to be like that kind of Dr. Phil, like AB just said. Like be the guy that can like understand stuff. But like you got to have that guy that just like he just brought up a huge point. You have to demand respect. Somebody like Brian Flores would demand that respect.
Brian Flores, and you want to know what you might get, Brian. There's a couple of things. There's beautiful points you touched on, and again, I'm so sorry for digressing against talking about the Baltimore Ravens. But you look at the team like Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. They've won 5 out of their last 6. Right? They're beating teams. They have a better record than we do. They're 6-7. We keep thinking that the Lions are whatever. No, the Lions play hard. We almost lost to them last year, and so Baker Mayfield wouldn't talk to the media after that game. But I think it's for that, talking a little bit like Jeff said about Brian Flores, it's crazy because Brian Flores is the type of guy who people say, you know what, he wasn't a good head coach, this, that, the other, because look at the Miami Dolphins when he was there. Look at the Miami Dolphins now. Brian Flores wasn't an offensive guy. Okay, Mike McDaniels went in there and said, you know what, Tua, I was watching your high school tape. You know what I mean? We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And another thing is, I don't care. I'll say it. Tyreek Hill's also there. You know what I mean? Like the Miami Dolphins did a fantastic job. They did a fantastic job of hooking Tua up with an offensive team that was going to be flying around. They wanted an Oregon Ducks circa 2010 type of offense. JC, I would love you guys to rank these head coaches from Browns in 2023 if you could choose 1 to 5. If you could choose 1 to 5, Harbaugh, Steeken, Stefanski, Brady,
who's that?
Tomlin. Who's Steeken, bro? I don't even know who Steeken is. I think. Well, I want to say Vrabel. I'll put. Well, I've seen the downfall of Vrabel. I think I've seen the downfall of Vrabel slowly, just because I think that. That the Titans right now, I think they were just a product of Derrick Henry exploding onto the scene. And now that people know how to stop Derrick Henry, and that defense is slowing up a little bit.
He's Philly's OC.
Philly's OC. Okay. That's why I have no idea. I have no idea. I was like, Steve Steeken. That sounds familiar, but I had no idea who he was.
But I hate to say it, but the Harbaugh thing's kind of growing on me. Like that's because Mac brought up a good point.
We're talking about John. We're talking about John, right? Or Jim?
Yeah. Michigan guy.
Oh, Michigan. Okay.
Yeah.
This whole time I thought we were talking about Baltimore. I'm like, Baltimore's not.
No. It'd be Jim.
Okay.
The thing with that is like Mac brought up a good point, bro. About JC said you live in Cleveland, dog, or Cleveland in Philly, dog.
I hate Philly sports. There's not one Philly sports that I actually like.
Oh, hot take.
So I don't pay attention. But I know. Unfortunately, yeah.
But Mac brought up a huge point to me that like didn't sit until he actually said it. Was Harbaugh and Greg Roman coached together in San Fran? If he could get Greg Roman with him and get a good staff, because Jim Harbaugh has that swag to him. I mean, he was a good coach in the NFL with the 49ers. I mean, they were constantly in the NFC Championship and in the Super Bowl. Like, I mean, he was a good head coach.
I would ask this question to the listeners and the viewers or whatever, because I don't know the answer, but I would like to ask the question confidently. But anybody who's listening right now, please help me out. When's the last time a prominent college football coach came to the NFL and did a fantastic job?
But the thing is he's been in the NFL, though. Like, that's the thing, is he went from the NFL to college. It's not like he's straight from college.
So did Nick Saban. Would you want Nick Saban as your head coach? I mean, I don't know if Chip Kelly coached in the NFL, but we saw
Yeah.
I mean, and Jim was good in San Francisco. Don't get me wrong. It's but I'm like, okay, well, but when's the last time someone went from college, very prominent, to
But
the NFL and had a
he
very successful career?
did
you can go to
it like he did it in the NFL though. He went to an NFC championship. It's not like Saban was a defensive coordinator who went to become a head coach, didn't
True.
really succeed, and then went to college and did his thing at LSU and Bama and all that.
True.
But Harbaugh's done it in the NFL. Like he
But
knows what's up.
I just think sometimes
Look at what he's doing at Michigan too.
sometimes
Look at
finally, but look how long it took him to do that.
He's only been there 5 years.
finally.
5-6 years.
It took him finally to be remotely bring Michigan from. I mean, it took him a while, but are you willing to give Jim that long and then say, hey, and chalk it up?
Well, you
next
got to
year?
think the transfer portal wasn't that big when he took the head coaching job. So you have to actually build the program. You've got to always, like when a head coach gets hired in college, well, at the time, you had to give them 2 to 3 years to actually get their own guys in.
Yeah,
Like recruit their own guys, So that I think Harbaugh would be a solid coach for Cleveland. I'm not giving up on Stefanski just quite yet.
no, I want this record. I'm not giving up on Stefanski.
I'm not.
We can have JC on the show and we can argue about this all day. But I'm not giving up on Stefanski. But if I were to, Mike Tomlin would be my number one. I would choose Mike Tomlin in here. That's the number one.
That's if they. I don't know. I don't think that they'll let him go because we heard that back whenever Big Ben kind of hurt his arm there.
Yeah,
that first time, and they were without him. We always heard like they were going to get rid of him.
No,
they're not getting rid of him.
They're not.
That culture there in Pittsburgh.
Matt Canada is gone first.
Oh yeah, he's
Matt
gone.
Canada is gone first.
But they'll get rid of him before they will.
Exactly. I would take if I had to choose my order once again. I would choose because the order was I don't know who the 5th coach was, but I have Tomlin. I have Vrabel.
Let me pull that up real quick.
Yeah, I have Tomlin, Vrabel. Oh, Stefanski. Oh, okay. Well, then I'll put Stefanski first. I'll take Stefanski first, and then I'll take Mike Tomlin as these are potential head coaches of the Cleveland Browns on the 2023 season. For those of you who are listening on the podcast, and just in the order of Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, Steve Steichen, Kevin Stefanski, or Mike Vrabel. And my order is going to be Kevin Stefanski, number one option, who would be the coach of the 2023 season, in my opinion, who I would want. Then Mike Tomlin, Mike Vrabel. Then I'll take the Harbaugh brother. I'm not even going to say his first name because I can't stand Michigan.
Jim.
And then Steve Steichen. So that's what I would. I mean Shane. I keep saying I want to say Steve, but it's Shane. So that's what I would do. But that's how I look at it moving forward. What order would you do?
I mean, Stefanski is number one. I think that they'll retain him for 2023.
Right.
Harbaugh would be 2. I'm going to put Tomlin last because I don't think he's fired. And I don't think Vrabel's going to be fired either. I think both of them are going to be 4 and 5.
They're going to let Malik have
Steichen, I guess, would be 3, but I think I would rather have the defensive coordinator from the 49ers because I like that.
DeMeco Ryans.
I really like that Kyle Shanahan tree. I still think we messed up back in 2014 letting him walk. We messed up huge.
There's a lot of coaches that coach for the Cleveland Browns that we let walk and or fired or whatever. Stefanski over Vrabel and Tomlin. Insert Manny's big eyes. Yes. Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think Tomlin and Vrabel are getting fired.
No,
I mean it's a dream to think that we have a shot at getting Mike Tomlin.
But again, to JC's, I don't want to interrupt you, but to JC's point, the reason why I would take Kevin Stefanski over Mike Tomlin and Vrabel is one, he already knows what he has to do this season, and again, it's 2 games. I'm holding up 4. 2 games. It's been 2 games.
It's 3, Malone.
I can't. It's 2 games that we're talking about. So I'm like, we have 4 more left. We have the Baltimore Ravens, a very good game. We've seen Deshaun Watson. Have we seen a progression from Deshaun Watson in Houston to Deshaun Watson in Cincinnati? Yes or no?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, he's a franchise quarterback, bro. Like,
yeah, exactly. So
you're going to see the progression. I think you'll see another step that first game in Cleveland too.
Absolutely. We've seen the progression from game 1 to game 2. Now let's see the progression from game 2 to game 3. And then all of a sudden, I guarantee you by the end of the season, they're going to say, you know what? We'll give Stefanski 1 more year. And then that 1 more year, he'll show you. Hot
take. You want to hear a hot take for this Ravens game?
Go ahead.
Deshaun Watson's going to lead a game-winning touchdown drive to end the game.
I don't listen, and here that's a hot take. That's a hot take, and the reason it's a hot take is because I'm not saying that I'm the end all be all person of saying no, but like I don't think that's yet. I don't think that
I
is
think
yet.
it's this week, bro. Because listen, I think it's gonna be a tight game, but I think the Ravens are gonna jump out to a little bit of a lead. The Browns are gonna make a little bit of a comeback. It's gonna be tied up. Browns are gonna get ball with like 3 minutes left, and he's gonna march down the field. He's gonna give you that glimpse of greatness. Because like he said he's not where he needs to be. He said the team's not where it needs to be yet.
Yeah.
I think this is. And I think Stefanski's going to call a great game because everybody's at him right now. Everybody's going at Stefanski.
Yeah.
He's heard the chatter about him.
He definitely has.
And I guarantee there's some internal heat too there. But I think Deshaun Watson's going to improve a little bit. Not like he's going to go out there and throw 500 yards, 17 touchdown passes or anything like that. No. But I think that you're going to see that glimpse of why we paid him that much money to come in here.
I think the reason why I don't say yet, because I don't believe that I don't believe that the only reason I'm saying that is because I don't believe that the Baltimore Ravens are going to put up enough points for it to even be a close. I'm not saying they're going to get blown out.
No, I'm saying like it's going to be like 14-14, 17-17 type. I'm not saying it's going to be like 38 to like 42 or anything. When we get ball back, I think it's going to be it's going to be like 17. It's going to be below 20, and he's going to get that last second touchdown.
I think past the first quarter that the Baltimore Ravens won't be within 5 points of the Cleveland Browns. That's why I don't think there's going to be a game-winning drive.
See, I get your point there, but like the Ravens are a well-coached team. They're going to compete that whole game, whether or not they got Lamar in there or not.
Listen. If Tyler Huntley's in there, then your argument stands. But I believe Anthony Brown is going to be there, and I don't see them whatsoever even moving that off without Rashad Bateman and without Tyler Huntley, their second stringer. And you want to count on Deshaun Jackson and Devin Duvernay and Anthony Brown Jr.?
Well, we said this about Joe Flacco too. We said that about Marcus Mariota.
But again, Joe Flacco it was unforeseen circumstances. There was so many things.
But John Harbaugh is, I hate to say it, but he is a great coach. He can get the best out of anybody.
And KFC, we will see it on Saturday.
I hope we blow him out, man.
But realistically, he's not that good. Without Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens are garbage. But Tyler Huntley, if you squint, maybe he doesn't throw the ball as well as Lamar, and read defense as well as Lamar. But maybe you're comparable with him. You can win some football games just like they did last week. But if they had Anthony Brown Jr. that whole game, their third stringer, John Harbaugh's not that good. I don't know a coach in the NFL that is. Maybe Bill Belichick.
I don't think that he's gonna. I don't think Brown's gonna just like come out there and kill us or anything. Mm-hmm. I'm more scared about the run game. That's what terrifies me, is because John Harbaugh and Greg Roman, they've got a good run game. If we can hone in on that and stop them, like LeBron said earlier. If we can hold them to below 150, I think we're sitting pretty. I think we're sitting good, depending on how the offense.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you what. And if Joe Woods can't hone in on that, and Joe Woods can't focus and say, "Man, oh man, we're not gonna." We literally, they only have Anthony Brown. This is not confirmed yet, but if they only have Anthony Brown and they're only going to run the ball the entire time, and we can't stop the run, that's going to be embarrassing. That is going to be so embarrassing. Mm-hmm. I will make Anthony Brown beat me through the air. Oh, I would make them beat me. And we're just coming off a game.
Joe Woods, I hate to say this, but Joe Woods isn't going to make any adjustments. I doubt that they're probably in the same defense we ran last week and the same defense we've ran all year. That'll probably be how we run it. To the credit of Joe Woods, and I'm saying this, if he doesn't make any adjustments, he didn't make any. That defense didn't make any adjustments, but still had Joe Burrow not having one of the greatest games of his career. Of 18, he was 18 for 33 with like 290, throwing for 290 for 2 touchdowns and interception, and still it's like I thought he had like 240.
No, Yeah, he did have 240. Actually, it is. Yeah,
Yeah, because
239.
I had an argument with somebody and I was like, Watson had
more
over.
yards. Yeah.
Well, Watson had 300 yards total, count
Mhm.
run game, and
Exactly.
I think we'll see a little more scrambles from Watson.
We're gonna see some more once he's
And
comfortable.
you know
Yeah.
that he's going to be a little more comfortable. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying yeah, once he's comfortable for sure.
Oh yeah, I think he's going to be a little more comfortable playing in front of the home crowd. I think that's going to ease it a little bit. You know, first time in Cleveland,
and you have more chances to make mistakes because I'm not trying to bash Anthony Brown too much, but it's Anthony Brown. I like it. Like you have.
Well, and hopefully, since some tickets are like -$3, hopefully that thing packs out and the dog pound is roaring.
Yeah.
Go
Oh
ahead,
yeah.
get
They
them
should. They
dogs.
should be. I think they're still going to be lit. I think especially. I think with it being Baltimore. I think they're going to go crazy. I think that because I know that I would if I were there. But honestly, again, I think that this is going to be. I want to get to wrap up the show here.
I love it.
Predictions.
Turn me up.
AB Browns win 47-12. Wow. That is a whopping. Honestly, that would be great if that happened.
Oh,
great if that happened.
All the Fire Stefanski jokes are going to be out the window.
No, it's going to be out of the window. It's going to be out.
Yeah,
of the window. You need one game like that to say, oh shoot, like no, Stefanski's Timothy. Even because even after Joe Woods, even at that game on Monday Night Football on Halloween, some people were like, fire Joe Woods, and the rest of us were like, shut up. But now it's like you need a game.
Well,
like
you've got to get rid of Joe Woods.
You have to get rid of.
I would have got rid of him after that Jets game, honestly.
Yes, I would have as well. I would have as well.
Been early, but still, I mean, he's been here 3 years now.
Yeah, that was. I would have as well.
But transitioning into score predictions, what are your score predictions for this game?
I have the Browns winning 27-13. The Baltimore Ravens will get a touchdown, thanks to the defense, whether it be a defensive touchdown or interception brought back, or a fumble.
What's up, Drew?
I hope you're doing well, Drew. I hope you're doing well.
You get better, man.
You're sick, man. Please, lots of fluids, get some rest. So nice for you to drop by when you woke up. That's awesome. That's so fantastic. We love hearing from you guys.
Appreciate that.
But yeah, no, I think that it's going to be a 27-13 win for the Cleveland Browns. I think the defense is going to help them out with a touchdown, whether it be picking it off and bringing it back for 6 or fumble recovery or whatever, but or even bringing it within the 4 or 5 yard line or something like that. But it won't be offensive. I think they're going to have a really tough time moving the ball. Just not because of the Cleveland Browns defense being so good, but because of potential Anthony Brown starting. If it's Tyler Huntley, the Browns might lose. The Browns might lose. Not that because Tyler Huntley.
See, I think that it'll be a closer game if it's Tyler Huntley. I'm kind of expecting Tyler Huntley, but he's got a concussion.
It is a concussion. Yes, it is.
Yeah, they might sit him again. I don't know. Which they just elevated him, right?
Yeah, I think so. I have to double check. I'm not entirely sure, but I have to make sure, but I'm not entirely sure. So
yeah, if I was Joe Woods, I'd be game planning for Tyler Huntley then.
Yeah, he just got out of a concussion protocol. So
do you think they'll start him though?
I don't know, but
since he just got out,
because this year is just different, especially with that Tua concussion in play. I think it might be a little bit different. So I don't know. I don't entirely know.
Well, their emergency quarterback's Mark Andrews.
Yeah. Honestly,
so they'll probably elevate him to the active roster and just keep him there just in case worst comes to worst that they've got to put him in. But
yeah,
going back to the score predictions, I think, like I said earlier, I think Deshaun Watson has a late drive to make the score. Browns 4,322,000 to Ravens 3.3.
And if Tyler Huntley's playing,
Browns 2,235,700
half
to Ravens 6.9. Noise.
This has been a fun show. This has been a fantastic, fun show. Thank you, LeBron, so much for hopping in. I know you had some technical difficulties at the end there. Always a pleasure. You're welcome back on the show anytime.
Anytime.
So hopefully the game's going to be coming up soon here because it's on Saturday. Remember, it's that Saturday. Browns 3, Ravens 0. That I would not even
Cade York from
mind
75.
that. I mean, when's the last time the Browns played somebody and then their opponent goes
Bro,
scored 0 points?
They should just have a truce before the game and only kick field goals from like 65 plus.
Well, Cade York would love it because Cade York really wanted that 60-yarder versus Cincinnati. He was upset.
67.
67. He wanted to try it. I've never seen a kicker that upset. But
you could hear him over the TV. He's like, "Put me in."
Yeah, he's like,
"Put me in."
So but hey, I think it's gonna win. I think it's gonna be a win. And we're gonna welcome in Jarvis Landry back into Cleveland next week. So
yep. And
as always,
you just got dine with the Browns, baby.
Let's get it, baby.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.